This happened about 2 years ago when I was working the night shift at a 24-hour gas station on the outskirts of town. The job wasn't great, but it paid decent for what it was, and most nights were pretty quiet. I'd just sit behind the counter, watch some shows on my phone, and occasionally help a customer. This particular night started like any other. It was around 11 p.m. when I clocked in. My coworker Jake left right after showing me that everything was stocked and ready. The first few hours went by without anything happening. Maybe 3 or 4 customers came in total. Around 20:30 a.m. I noticed a car pull into the parking lot. It was an older sedan, nothing too unusual. But what was weird was that it just sat there. The engine was running, headlights on, but nobody got out. I kept glancing at it every few minutes, and it just stayed there in the same spot. After about 20 minutes of this, I started getting a little uncomfortable. I thought maybe they were lost or having car trouble, so I stepped outside to see if they needed help. As soon as I got close to the door, the car suddenly reversed and parked on the far end of the lot, away from the lights. I went back inside, feeling a bit strange about it. That's when I noticed on the security monitor that someone was standing at the side of the building, just standing there, not moving. The camera quality wasn't great, but I could make out that it was a man in dark clothing. My heart started racing. I tried to see if I could spot him through the windows, but the angle was wrong. I kept watching the monitor, and after a minute, he started walking. But he wasn't coming to the front door. He was walking around the entire building, slowly, like he was checking every window and door. I immediately locked the front door and called my manager. He didn't answer. I tried calling the police non-emergency line, but while I was on hold, I saw on the monitor that the man had made it to the back door. He tried the handle. It was locked, thankfully. Then he just stood there, facing the camera. And I swear, even with the grainy footage, I could see him staring directly into it. He stood there for what felt like forever, but was probably only 30 seconds. Then he walked back toward the front. I ducked down behind the counter, phone still in my hand. I heard footsteps outside, then someone trying the front door handle. When it didn't open, there was knocking. Loud, aggressive knocking. "Hey, I need to buy something." "Open up." His voice sounded off, too casual for how hard he was banging on the door. I stayed quiet, hoping he'd just leave. The knocking stopped, and I heard his footsteps fade away. I slowly peeked over the counter and saw him walking back to that car in the far corner of the lot. But he didn't get in. He just stood next to it, looking at the store. I was still on hold with the police when I noticed something that made my blood run cold. There was a second person now. Someone had gotten out of the passenger side, and they were both just standing there, staring at the building. That's when I hung up and dialed 911 directly. I told them what was happening, that I felt unsafe, and gave them the address. They said an officer was about 10 minutes away. Those were the longest 10 minutes of my life. The 2 people got back in their car but didn't leave. They just sat there, engine running, waiting. When I finally saw the police lights pull into the lot, the car immediately sped off, tires screeching. The officer took my statement and checked the whole building. He told me I did the right thing by locking the doors and calling. He also mentioned there had been a string of late night robberies at gas stations in nearby towns over the past few weeks. The description I gave matched what other employees had reported. I quit that job the next day. I don't know what would have happened if I had opened that door or if the police had taken any longer to arrive. But I'm pretty sure those people weren't there to buy gas. The cabin in the woods. Last October, me and 3 of my friends decided to rent a cabin upstate for a weekend getaway. We'd all been stressed with work and school, so getting away from everything sounded perfect. The cabin was pretty remote, about an hour from the nearest town, surrounded by dense forest. We arrived Friday evening just as it was getting dark. The place was nice enough, a bit old and creaky, but it had everything we needed. We spent the first night just hanging out, playing cards, drinking, and enjoying being away from the city. Nothing strange happened that night. Saturday was great too. We went hiking during the day, came back, made dinner, and decided to have a bonfire outside. The cabin had a fire pit in the back, so we gathered some wood and got it going. We were out there for a couple hours just talking and roasting marshmallows. Around 11 p.m., my friend Sarah said she heard something in the woods. We all went quiet and listened. At first, I didn't hear anything, but then there it was, footsteps, crunching leaves, and it sounded like it was coming closer. We all looked at each other, and my friend Mike stood up with a flashlight. He shined it toward the tree line, but we couldn't see anything. The footsteps stopped. We waited a minute, then laughed it off as probably being a deer or some other animal. But then we heard it again, this time from a different direction, and it was definitely getting closer. The sound was too deliberate, too rhythmic to be an animal. Mike shined the light again, and this time we all saw it. There was someone standing just inside the tree line, barely visible, about 50 feet away. We all froze. Nobody said anything for a few seconds. Then Mike called out, "Hey, can we help you?" No response. The person just stood there. We couldn't see their face, just a dark silhouette. My friend Jessica suggested we go inside, and we all agreed. We quickly put out the fire and hurried into the cabin, locking the doors behind us. We watched through the windows, but we couldn't see anyone anymore. Mike wanted to call the police, but Sarah pointed out that we were on private property that we'd rented, so maybe it was just the owner checking on the place. It sounded reasonable enough, so we decided to just stay inside and keep the doors locked. About an hour passed, and we started to relax a bit. We were in the living room when we heard it. A loud bang on the back door. Then another one, someone was pounding on it. We all jumped up. Mike grabbed a kitchen knife and I called 911. The banging continued, moving from the back door to the side windows. Whoever it was, they were trying to find a way in. The 911 operator told us to stay on the line and that officers were on their way, but it would take at least 20 minutes given how remote we were. The banging suddenly stopped. Everything went silent. We all stood there in the living room, barely breathing, listening for any sound. That's when we heard footsteps above us. Someone was on the roof. I don't think I've ever felt fear like that. The footsteps moved across the roof slowly, deliberately. Then they stopped right above where we were standing. We heard scraping, like someone was trying to remove something or pry something open. Jessica started crying. Sarah was on the phone with the police, giving updates. Mike and I just stood there with whatever we could use as weapons, staring at the ceiling. The scraping continued for what felt like forever. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. We heard footsteps moving away across the roof, then nothing. Complete silence. We didn't move. We barely breathed. We just waited. When the police finally arrived, they searched the entire property and the surrounding woods. They found footprints all around the cabin, on the roof, near every door and window. But whoever it was had already left. The officers told us that the area had been dealing with break-ins at rental properties, and that we should leave immediately. We packed up our stuff in under 10 minutes and left that same night. None of us said much during the drive back. We were all too shaken. I later found out from the rental company that the previous renters had also reported someone prowling around the property late at night. I haven't been back to any remote cabins since, and I don't think I ever will.